My name is Pam. Welcome to Birds Gotta Fly. And we are stockists of chalk paint decorative paints by Annie Sloan. And this paint is really sweeping the country, the United States, and really all over the world because it's such a dynamic product. I believe it's changing the entire painting industry personally. With her paints, there's no sanding, there's no priming, there's water cleanup, there's a 20-minute dry time, and then you have a finish that you can use outdoors or indoors depending upon the technique that we use. So why don't you kind of crowd in a little bit around this way so you can see. How many of you are how many of you are familiar with these kind of brushes? Okay. These are the kind of brushes I've always painted with. I've painted with latex paints, oil-based paints, acrylic paints, and I've been a furniture painter for a while, and that's something that I love to do. But as my business grew, I realized I needed to do something that helped me to move much quicker, and I appreciate anything that would be easier. Today, this old chair here, other painters might just really flip out, but what I did with this chair was I just used my Clorox wipes to get the dust off. I didn't sand anything, I didn't put anything on it.
Primer?
No primer, no primer.
This is how it came. I think you haven't painted any of this
Here.
on it yet.
No.
Oh, this is what you painted already?
Yeah, I've been doing demos all day. So up here would be the original surface.
So that was the original.
You can crowd in to see over this way if you want. I want you to be able to see. The application of this product is wonderful because if you've painted with a latex paint or an oil-based paint, you're always worried about the drag from your brush, or if you have to go back into it, the lines and the drags from your brush. With her paints, you just paint. You know, Annie Sloan is a painter, she's an artist, she's an author, she's a mother, and she's always been a very busy woman. And she's the one who met with chemists back in 1990 over in Oxford, England, and had this paint developed for her. And it helped her to be able to do what she needed to do, and today it's helping me do what I need to do. What I'm going to do is dip my paint in the brush, or dip my brush in the paint, and I'm going to put my paint right here, and you can each take a turn just touching with the paint, this brush, and then I'll pass this brush around and let you try. Go ahead. Just paint. Anywhere. You can get by with one coat on a lot of different surfaces. This piece right here, if I wanted it to be a solid Emperor silk, which is one of her colors, I would paint 2 coats on this because it's an older piece and it's very porous. Now you can try this brush. Yes. Well, yes it will, but then I'm going to show you how to make it darker where it doesn't. Okay? Yes. Paint is much thicker of paints. That's okay. I've had customers here and there who have purchased quartz from me, and because it's thicker, they thought, well, I'm going to add water to it to make it go further. You can do that, but you will change the integrity of the product and what it's made to do with just one coat. And it's a water-based paint. It has nothing to do with chalk, chalkboard, chalk. Okay? It has nothing to do with that.
Kind of like regular paint?
It's just a water-based paint so that we can paint quickly and easily all the time. And while you're all experiencing the paint and the brushes, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about the wax. because we just have 15 minutes and I know you're all going to have questions. With the wax, this part is the part that most people find the most difficult, but it's only because they don't understand. They watch what I do. I just take my spoon. I use the outside edge of the spoon. I wipe my wax on a paper plate. I don't dip into my can so that I don't contaminate it with color, dust, and so forth. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. Now I'm going to find a dry spot. Okay, here we are. We're good. All right. If we don't wax the piece that you've painted, it's a piece that can go outside in the weather.
If you don't?
If you don't wax. The opposite of what we do with our cars. Do not wax.
So
and it can sit outside.
You can put it outside.
Yes.
But if you do wax
it stays inside.
Wouldn't it?
Nope. That's another thing about the product. It's one paint with endless possibilities. Just remember that. Another statement that I share all the time, less is more. Less is more. So, the purpose of the wax is to give you your finish. Your finish. For indoors. If it's the type of finish you want.
Is that what these are up there where it's half and half?
Yes, I'll explain all of that. This piece right here is not waxed. This is the graphite and there's no wax on here. Okay? Pardon me? Yes, it does. And the feel is different too. Another thing that's really neat is if you do not wax this piece, but you kind of want it to feel a little smoother, you can take a rag and buff at it and get it that way. Okay, now, I generally keep a box, one with cut up t-shirts. I like to use light colored t-shirts for light colored paints and dark colored for dark colored paints, but you can do whatever you want to do. With the wax, what I do is I'm a little bit more deliberate, but I'm relaxed. I put it in my head that I am painting my wax into my chalk painted surface. Okay? Just like that. Just like that.
So
Your wax.
Just using that type of a brush as opposed to using a rag to put it on?
You can use anything you want to use to put it on, but if you want more control of your wax and you want it to go further and you want to be more conservative, then you would use a wax brush. Now, I put my wax on, and if you feel it, it's a little sticky. Go ahead and reach through and touch that. You feel it? You feel it's just wax. It's just wax. You come back with your t-shirt right away. You don't go too far. A little section, come wipe it. Another section, wipe it. Just blend your two sections together. Come back with your rag. Wipe off your excess.
Do that right away too, kind of.
Well, pretty soon. And then feel.
Yeah.
You feel how smooth and beautiful that is?
And this is actually smooth here too.
Well, that's probably, I did some, right here, there's wax there from earlier today. But that's the finish that you get. And now you wanted to know about the dark wax and how to get that aged patina. It's the same application. Less is more. If you want a lighter antique-y look, less wax and more careful application. If you want it dark, just put your wax on like crazy and wipe it off, and that's what you'll get. Those boards over there were done sometime between 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning real fast, so I wasn't real concerned with technique at the time. So
you can, if you want to experiment with it, you can start off light, and if you want more, put another layer on and go darker.
yes,
right?
yes, yes you can. Let's just say I'm doing this today, right here, and I just waxed this, right? Oh, I don't like it. I'm going to do a different color, and I'm just going to paint it again. And I'm not going to do anything to it but paint and get it ready for...
So it doesn't matter if there's a wax coat on it?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, for you, with the dark wax, the application's the same. I'm just deliberate about where I put it. It's hard to see on the Emperor silk in this thing, but if we look here.
Did that already have some put on that where them rungs are darker in the middle of?
That's just the old wood where I wasn't careful about how I painted. You know, another thing that Annie says a lot too, or that she's trying to help us relax in, is that there's so much perfection and imperfection. You know, she's just the gal, she's the get on with it gal. Just get on with it and get done. So
basically, there's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong. It pulls on, to me, her products pull on the creativity inside of you. If you're a painter already, you're going to be a great painter. If you're artistic in any way, you're going to find all kinds of ways to use the product. And if you're not a painter and you're kind of scared, you're going to become a painter. And one day you're going to go, oh, I'm good. Because that's how it is. That's how it is.
What's the difference in what the waxes do?
Your clear wax gives you your finish. Your finish, or some people would say your sealer. Your dark wax gives you your patina, your stain. Let's see. I'll use this one. This board was painted. It's just plain wood. I didn't prime it. I painted a coat of the Arles on it. And then I put clear wax over that, the whole board. And then I put my dark wax on the bottom half, just to show what it would look like if you wanted to give this an aged, antiqued appearance. I don't use the antique word anymore.
So you use the dark antique, you waxed it, you put the dark antique over it, you wiped it, now did you go over it with the clear again?
No. No, because I already have my finish, my sealer. This is decorative. This part's decorative. This has your clear. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Do you have to use the clear wax and the...
Yes. Your dark wax is more of your product that gives you the characteristic that you might want to your piece. It's pigmented, so it's going to affect your color. So let's just say if when you add brown to it, you'd get not pretty, right? So if you're determined that you've picked a color, you've taken the time to pick your color, and that's the color that you want. If you put just brown wax on it, you're going to change, you're going to alter your color somewhat, okay?
You have the other wax underneath it.
That's right. Your other wax protects your paint color. You just deepen it. Give it.
A piece that has to be water protected. Because it's a, I know people put glasses down on it. And I've read that you need to use the lacquer pieces. Do you wax and then brown wax and then lacquer?
You can, yes.
Because I wanted to get some middle blue over there. I want it to be more towards the darker on the bottom. And so I want to get the soft wax clear, and then the dark, and then lacquer over that.
Or, you know, the product works so well that if your application is good, I like to use 2 coats of paint on a tabletop and 2 coats of wax. Give it about a 28-day cure time. And then about 28-day cure time. You're talking about a tabletop you're going to be eating dinner at and so forth. I would do that. But always keep in mind, it's still a piece of furniture. It's still a painted piece of furniture. Or even if you had a wooden piece, protect it. Always. But your finish is good even if you don't lacquer on it, but you can. And if you have a lot and they're really rough, then I would.
My husband will put glasses down on it without a coaster in it.
Well,
Show us something with lacquer on it.
I don't have anything today with lacquer on it. I'm sorry.
Is it shiny?
It's a matte finish. It's a matte finish, and it's a water cleanup also, which is wonderful. It's amazing.
Pieces out here to help.
No, I do not. Because I love the finish alone without the lacquer. It's great.
I do too.
where we went to school, let me tell you about the lacquer. Where we went to school to learn all about this. When we walked into the studio, the floor had been painted in the graphite. It had been stenciled with, it looked like old white probably to me, and with French words and big flowers and so forth. And I stood on that floor in awe because the floor was 2 years old, the lacquer was on it, and you couldn't tell anything. And that was a concrete floor that people are walking on and pieces of furniture are moved around on. So that goes to tell you about the finishes.
So do
So.
you have a lacquer here that goes with this?
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
So you have a lacquer.
Yes, we do. Yes. What I'm doing right now is I'm just getting all this paint out of this brush because there's a lot in here.
So you usually use the bigger brushes you use smaller brushes to paint with, and you use the bigger brushes.
They're two different brushes. This is Annie Sloan's paintbrush. This is the wax brush that I use. They're two different sizes. So, different size paintbrushes. So, and you can use this brush. You all know that now. You just learned different brushes. So that's all today. And I'll be glad to answer questions.